Okay, so last week we had Chris Nikolic, which went down really well. And I want to thank Chris. Has been bombarded with emails and messages about cadaver dogs and various aspects of training them and working them. Yeah, thanks for Chris, and thanks for everybody for watching. That last week, countries. Yeah, we've had feedback and email, to name a few. We've got a few speakers lined up over the next few weeks. I'll just tell you very quickly about them. So the next Canine Live talk will be on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th. I won't tell you who it's going to be just yet. Someone who's worked all their life, heavily involved in detection work all over the world. So on Tuesday, mental training with puppies and all the aspects of that. But tonight we have Damir from Canis Revolution in Croatia.
Good evening, Stu.
How are you?
I'm perfect, like always.
Good. So thank you for being our third speaker on Canine Live Talk, which is obviously quite new. But we'll probably get lots of questions during the 60 minutes, which sounds a long time, but it'll go quite quickly.
Of course.
So, Damir, you are former police dog instructor with the Croatian Police, and you also served with Frontex, the European Border and Coastguard Agency. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your start and your dog career in the world?
Of course, yeah. Years I have been dog handler and dog training instructor in the Croatian Police Dog Training Centre here in Zagreb. You know how it is in police. You always train a lot. You have a very good handlers, other instructors. I have been the youngest instructor in Croatia in that moment, and I have a very good chance to. The big problem with opening to the Europe, and my luck was that the government decided to send me in Frontex to be involved in the guards, and considering the working with canine. And that was my involvement in Frontex. I was involved in making the curriculum for patrol units, for detection dogs, and I was in part with course for the dog handlers in detection work. 3 years ago, I have decided that my time in police is over. I wanted to experience something new. I have seen the Europe and the standards which are in the Europe, and I wanted to offer my services to the private security companies, to the private clients, and that's it. And 3 years ago, I have organized and I have started my company, Canis Revolution, and now it's a private-owned company here in Zagreb. We have a big training center, and mostly we are providing special security and special search services for the private clients, considering the narcotics, explosions. We have a very, very, very good cooperation last years with the private hunting area owners who hired us to search for the poaching weapons, and something like that with our dogs. Last year, we have opened the market to the clients who are coming with their yachts in Croatia for the sea. We are providing the service for the narcotic check for their yachts. And I can say that momentarily we are very satisfied. Didn't implement any EU standards considering working with dogs, and that's our biggest problem. And that is the reason why we have started this dog mentality test protocols, which we will talk during this hour, 60 minutes.
Yes. So your time in the Croatian Police, you worked with patrol dogs and with detection dogs, and
yes, and dogs and detection dogs. Last 3 years, I have been explosive detection dog handler because I have decided that there is no more challenges in the Police Dog Training Center for me, and I have decided to go again on the field working with the dogs. And I have been working in special security service unit, providing the explosive detection for the Prime Minister, President, and that's all. That was a very good time of life, But like I told you, there was no more challenges in police.
You think, you think that you did everything you could during your time in the police.
I could say that the situation and the scenarios and the projects ongoing were too slowly for me. I like to things go more faster, and I have seen what are the standards abroad, and I wanted to get that standards,
Yeah. And so some people, especially people here in the UK, they will have no idea about Frontex. But Frontex is the European Border Agency and Coastguard Service, and you worked with their K9 units. Can you just tell us a little bit about the job that Frontex does? Because even though when we're obviously, the UK is on its way out of the EU at the moment, but even when we were in the EU, the UK chose not to be part of the Frontex system. So can you just tell us briefly about Frontex and what they did?
Yeah, because I'm not longer a part of the police and the Frontex, it's not okay to talk about Frontex. But the thing I can say, and which I have been very impressed with the goal of the Frontex, because they have put all the countries, EU countries together. They have set all the experienced instructors together on one table, and they have built up a very good quality management system, curriculum, and the operational standard for the canine units, for the patrol dogs, for the detection dogs. And that's the best thing that has happened last 10 years in Europe, that there is a chance for all EU countries to get the similar standard working with dogs. And for example, UK has a problem on their borders, and they will ask the Greek, Austria, Slovenia, Croatia to come to their countries with their canine units, and that these canine units are able to work immediately because they are all been trained on the same standard, the same quality standard. And that's the most important thing. All same standard for the all EU countries, like in security operations work, security companies, there is one agency trying to build the same standard for the all security companies working in EU, and that's a very good thing,
Yes. And the Frontex standard, I'm just looking on the side here. There are a number of people that are signed in and saying hello. Some of them are Frontex, or you've worked within Frontex. I noticed them. But the Frontex standard is a very high and a very good standard, isn't it, for their K9 teams?
For the K9 teams, momentarily in the world, I don't know who has the higher standard than Frontex. And you can go, everybody can go on Frontex pages. They will see the standards. It's public. They will see what we are talking about. For example, in the detection work, there is no false indication, and you have to find all heights. That's the only standard in EU who has that in the world. Yeah. And that's very, very hard to reach. When my time in Frontex, I had, in my opinion, very good dog, female German Shepherd, which served me many years, but she wasn't too good for that kind of the standard. And that was the problem of the mentality, and that was one of the reasons why I have started to develop this dog mentality test protocols here in Croatia, in cooperation with the guys I have met in Frontex.
Well, that's right. So I was going to come on to that now. So we're gonna talk now about dog mentality and testing of potential dogs. And this is something that has been developed by you and by a number of colleagues who developed the Frontex standard. So this is quite a high standard. And yeah, do you want to tell us about the dog mentality testing?
Yeah, you have to have some information that in my training period, when I was been training for the handler, and then later when I have been training for the instructor, nobody even talked me about dog mentality. something like that nobody knows in Croatia. And then in Frontex, I have met these guys from the Sweden, Norway, Finland, these countries who always talk about dog mentality characters, and I didn't know nothing about it, you know. And then they have started talking, introducing me in it, and they have told me there are several mental skills inside of the dogs, considering, I don't know, social skills, aggression, defense drive, planned fight drive, nurse, fighting spirit, deed power, and I didn't know nothing about it. And then I have convinced my government and that they send me in Sweden for the course, and then the journey began. You know, and I went in Sweden. I went there like the observer. I received all the informations about it, come back in Croatia, and start to present it to my government, my colleague handlers, instructors, and we have started to develop it. And in that period of time, I have been involved in one project bringing the forensic dogs inside of the Croatia. And I have been one of the handlers. There were two handlers from Croatia who have started that project together with the colleagues from Sweden. And we have started building the dogs for the forensic dogs. Last week, we have heard lots of Chris from Cadaver. But he said something for forensic dogs. But we have started building these dogs in Croatia, and we didn't succeed. My thought was that I have a perfect dog for that kind of the service, but it wasn't the case. The dog couldn't perform on that level. And then the guys told me, Damir, please, in the moment when you implement dog mentality protocol in Croatia, then you will be able to find the proper dog for the service, for the forensic special services. And that was one of the reasons why I have started doing that. We have invested lots of money in it. Lots of people come together. We have several occasions bringing instructors in Croatia to help us develop it. And 4 years ago, we finally managed to build up the dog mentality test protocol here in Croatia. These 4 years, we have managed to educate around 40 people for the helpers in this kind of the protocol, and several test leaders. In these 4 years, there is around 45 dogs who have went through the protocols, but only 5 people accept that we put the results publicly on. And why didn't they accept to put it public, that everybody can see the result? Because they are one of the most famous breeders in Croatia and Slovenia. And they are the guys, they are the breeding kennels who have, I don't know, they have a reservation for litters for 20 litters in a row. And in the moment when we put the results for the dogs up, because there were very, very good results in show lines for them, but the final result was not so good. And they didn't accept to put it in media that everybody can see it. And 3 years ago, I have decided to make a fast stop to build my own company and to start to building the digital base, the base of the all test protocols which we have provided, we have made for the dogs and all over the Europe. But for one rule, everybody has to accept to put it in that base. What will be the benefits for you, for example, Stu? If you have been already at my presentation there in Bosnia for dog mentality, and you know basic mental skills, characteristics, digital base, you will search for that dog, and immediately the results will pop out in front of you. And you will be able to decide, okay, this dog has a proper mental skills, which I need for my service. I will buy this dog. And that is the final goal for us here in Croatia, here for my company, to build up that digital base. Because momentarily, you are aware, like there is a very, very big lack of good dogs in the world. Everybody are searching for good service dogs, and there is none. Momentarily, in Croatia, there is a lack of 35 or 40 dogs, which police momentarily trying to buy, and there is none. No one can pass the exam. Slovenia is searching for the dogs, good dogs too. Austria too, Sweden, Norway, everybody are searching for the good dogs. And where is the problem? We have lots of good trainers. So the trainers are not the problem. The breeding material is the problem. Nobody can evaluate the dog mentality in the male or the female, because heritage is a very, very big part of the breeding program. And if you don't have a clear picture of the female or the male who are involved in the breeding program, and then there are puppies with very big fear or aggression, uncontrolled aggression, deed power is very low, then you have a problem later in service. No.
So with this testing now, at what age do you? Well, tell us about how many particular elements there are involved in the test process, and also at what age can these tests be carried out. So having listened, well, I've heard about your mentality testing now for a number of years, and it's something that we talk about all the time. But what your aim is basically is to build up a database of where to go to get the correct dog, instead of so. Just to give people an idea, everybody's different. When it comes for me to look for potential detection dogs, I will look in rescue centres. Some rescue centres will allow dogs to go to working homes. But there are always people looking to rehome dogs. So families might have a dog which is no longer suitable for living with them. So I might get a Cocker Spaniel from them. But it's a case of having to look quite hard in the UK for potential search dogs. Now, obviously, when I find a potential search dog, I could use your testing to test them, couldn't I? Tell us about the elements involved in the testing. Are there different tests for different dogs that for the roles they're going to carry out? Is it a different test for a spaniel detection dog to a Malinois police dog? Tell us about the test involved.
Listen, what is the most important about this mental test protocol and the scenarios is that I
must warn you as well that your former instructor who taught you is watching this. He's just messaged me.
I know that he will be very pleased.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the beauty of the mental test protocol is that you can't train your dog to pass the mental test protocol. You can't train it because the scenarios and situation which dog will facing, they are unfamiliar completely to him, because all these scenarios are completely developed that for sure, if you didn't see the test before and you will not be try to cheat on the test, for sure the dog will be react like in full with his nature. For example, in this test you have a man who is hidden under the blanket and he's just running in front of the dog. He's going away from the dog, and dog just see blanket and the man. He don't see a man. He doesn't. Some unfamiliar object is running from him, and you just want to see what reaction will dog have. Natural reaction, curiosity, deed power, aggression, temperament, sharpness, everything. You want to see that kind of the mental characteristics which are natural in dog. Mother Nature gave it to him. Heritage gave it to him. Of course, some of the elements like sociality, social awareness, social curiosity are, he will experience that through the first year of the training and living in the shelter or with the human. He will experience it. But some part of the test are completely unfamiliar to him, and you just seek for the behavior, reaction of the dog. what is this reaction? And your question was, is this the test different from the breeds? No, it's completely the same for the civilian dogs, shelter dogs, service dogs. The test is the same, scenarios is the same, but result of the test after which you are searching in, then you have, for example, Belgian Malinois with very high prey drive, good deed power, sharp aggression, well moderate aggression. You will use that dog for the patrol service. Or you have a dog, a Springer Spaniel with a not so good social self-confidence, social curiosity is not so good, but the prey drive is good, deed power is not so good. I will talk to you about later about the deed power and aggression and the sharpness, something like that. But based on the result of inside of the test, you will choose what kind of the dog you need for the service. You are the breeder of the Springer Spaniels, and I'm trying to convince you to sell me one I start breeding here in Croatia. Then we can sit together, we can go through the mental test protocol, and we will say, okay, Damir, in social self-confidence, we are searching that kind of the dog, hunt and chase, catch and grab, sharpness, defense drive. We are searching for that kind of the results. And in the future, we will only search for that kind of the dogs, because these dogs will serve us very good in the service later,
Yeah.
And for your question, how old should the dog be? We have decided that we will not test the dog under 12 months. Why is that so? Because the results and the research and everything says that in 12 months we can say that dog is already, developed his mind and everything, that we can put him in this test situation and we can start searching for some of the behaviors we are testing, and reactions, of course.
Okay, so if you test the dog at 12 months old, but you have a litter of say Labradors, which you are hoping to use for detection work.
Okay.
You've said that you cannot train for the test, but is it possible from 8 weeks old until they do the test at 12 months? Is it possible to work towards it?
The philosophy behind all this, it's not to prepare the dogs for the test, because you want to see the pure mentality of this dog. I have already told you, you can't build up dog mentality. It's like it is, Some reactions are like it is. Mother Nature gave him some reactions. If you want to see the pure base of this dog, the pure mental state of this dog, then I don't want to prepare my dogs to it. I will test it in 12 months. And if he doesn't perform well, there are no bad and good results. They are just behaviors and reactions which are maybe good for some service. But if they are not good for some service, they will be good for some other service. Maybe some dogs are not good for the patrol service, but they are very good pets. They are very good for the sport, for the frisbee, for the, scent oil competition or something like that. That's the reason we want to see pure mentality of the dog. And based on the results, we want to decide if these dogs have mental characteristics, skills, good for the service we are planning to train him in.
Okay. So how many elements are there to the test?
So we have several mental characteristics we are testing. There is social characteristics, fight and play drive. There is a sharpness. There is a defense drive. There are nerves. We are evaluating the results of the nerves. Their temperament, memory pictures, and deed power. All these characteristics have their own scenarios, which they are developed just to that at the end of the mental test we are able to. My good friend instructor who trained me and who helped me to develop this for the Croatia had a very good expression and example. The mental test protocol, you are not evaluating all these characteristics by them own. You are evaluate the results at the end, combining all the characteristics together. All these characteristics, they have their own sub-characteristics. And for example, in deed power, you have defense drive, you have aggression, you have temperament, you have a curiosity. All these characters you have in deed power result. For example, in I can my example for the deed power, which is inner force of the dog, how brave, how curious this dog is to investigate something unfamiliar. Always when we are when we are watching horror movies, and this guy on the movie goes to the dark room, we all know that he will be dead over there because someone will kill him. We say, why are you going? You will be dead, because of the curiosity.
Okay.
We all are searching curiosity in your dog. In your operational work, in my operational work, sometimes dog has to go in front to solve his problem by their own. If he don't have deed power, he will not solve it. And that's the reason why we are searching and why we are evaluating deed power. All these scenarios have some stimulus for the dog in which we are searching how the dog will react. For example, one of the stimulus is, I'm the test leader, and you are the client who has come for the mental test protocol. In one scenario, you gave me your dog and you just run away in the bush. And I'm holding your dog for 30 seconds, 1 minute. And in one moment, I will lose your dog. The mission of your dog is to find you, to come to you fastest as possible. In the middle of his way, the man with the blanket will jump out. Just with the blanket, he will stand in front of the dog. Some of the dog will just pass by. Some of the dogs will stop, freeze, they will not do anything. Some of the dogs will run away in different directions. Some of the dogs will just start running all over the place for the 1 minute, and at the end, they will put the nerves together, calm them down, and they'll start searching for the handler. All these dogs have different reactions, and we evaluate their reactions. We evaluate what are they doing, how they are changing strategies to solve the problems. How curious are they? How brave are they? And we had some situation when dog immediately bite the blanket, and when he has finished biting the blanket, then he has, there is a human, I will bite him too. He has bite even the helper.
Okay.
And what is happening inside of this dog? How fast he will put his nerves together under the control? How fast he will calm himself up? All this we are evaluating, because in future, in service, when we will demand from the dog to perform something for us, something unfamiliar will happen to him. And we want to predict what kind of reaction this dog will do.
So, are all of the tests the same, regardless of whether they are for detection or patrol dog? Are all the tests the same?
Yeah, all mental test protocol is the same for all dogs, no matter which kind of the service they are doing, or are they coming from shelters, are they coming from the private homes, from breeding kennels. I don't care, because we are testing, we are evaluating the pure nature of this dog. Like I said, there is none bad or good results. We are just evaluating what the dog has done. What is his mentality? What he will, maybe we can predict what he will do in future. We will get a clear picture about his fears, about his drives, about his nerves. we will see, and we will maybe be able to take the tools which will help him to make a better performance in service, something like that. Because there was lots of dogs who had big fear, lots, very big aggression. In our time, when we have started to train the people in Croatia and in Slovenia and Austria about this mental test protocol, we had lots of arguments with old handlers, old instructors, civilians who are very, very high in the sport kinology about some expressions which we have, present differently. For example, aggression. We said that aggression is, one part of distance creating behavior. And people are always saying, the dog is too aggressive, the dog is aggressive, he has a lot of aggression. Yeah, but what kind of aggression? Is it aggression well moderate? Is it aggression moderate towards stimulus in a way? Okay, it's a well-adapted aggression. It's completely uncontrolled aggression. What kind of aggression this dog has? Aggression is something just the dog's behavior, and this dog is saying, okay, this is something unfamiliar to me. I'm a little bit unsecure. Stop. And he will start using his defense drive to show you, okay, stop. I'm afraid of you. You are unfamiliar. Stop over there. And dog is just communicating with the environment. And aggression is nothing bad. Aggression is in people and in animal. Aggression is something which kept us alive. We all fear, we all experience fear in some situation. But most important part for human and the dogs, even for the mental test protocol. Okay, you are scared, but what will you do when I scare you? What is your reaction? And what are your reactions after? How fast you will forget unpleasant stimuli? And how fast you will be back on the road, in the same track, back in the mission. Some dogs, unfortunately, are not able to complete the mental test protocol to the end. And then the main rule of the mental test protocol is don't let the dog come out from the mental test protocol in bad shape, in worse shape than he has come in. So when you experience the dog can't take any more stimulus, bad stimulus, and the reactions are not there, you will stop everything. And I'm aware that we will get that questions later. If the dog has been put in mental test protocol, that's it. He will never in future will be put again in the mental test protocol because we will lose effect of unfamiliar situations.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when I again another example, when I might get offered so I've been offered some dogs this week, some Cocker Spaniel and a couple of Springer Spaniels. So I will go out and take a look at these dogs and test them. Now, it's not always possible to test these dogs and spend a lot of time with them. Sometimes I might get 20 or 30 minutes, and if it's a dog that's being rehomed, I might be in someone's very small backyard or garden. They won't let me take the dog somewhere else. So I might have 20 minutes in a backyard to test a dog, which is not a very long period of time. Sometimes I might get a dog and I have 2 weeks to test and evaluate that dog. But how long do your tests take? With one dog?
Listen, I'm completely aware of situation you are having, and like all in the Europe and the world, all of us are facing that kind of a situation because all of the breeders are asking, come to me, you can select the dog and you can buy it and do whatever you want with it. But in Croatia, the mental test protocols last for around 45 or 60 minutes. And it's always in unfamiliar terrain for the dog, and it's always with unfamiliar people for the dog. Only person who is familiar to the dog is his handler or his breeder or something like that. All other people are completely unfamiliar. And that's the only way you can get the clear picture about the dog mentality.
Okay, right. So
in your situation, when I'm in that kind of the situation, I always talk with the people. Okay, I will take this dog. I tested a little bit. I test some social awareness, social curiosity, so his social status, a little bit of play drives, and then I decide. Okay, I will take it. But first of all, I will put it through the mental test protocol when come back in my dog training center. And then after the results of the mental test protocol, I will decide, okay, I will invest my time in that dog, my money and everything, or I will not. Mm-hmm. And that's the main point, because based on these test results, you can decide this dog is worth of my money, my time. Even so, I have been talking with lots of shelters here in Croatia. I have been starting to make the negotiations to them and try to ask them that we developed the protocols for the owners. Each dog in the shelter will be put through this mental test protocol. And when the possible new owner of the dog who wants to adopt the dog from the shelter will get the clear picture of dog mentality. That's all he needs. In this situation now, you are very nice, you are small, okay, and they bring the dog back home and they see, oh, fuck, sorry, this dog has lots of fears. What shall I do? He's scared of everything. He's running away. What shall I do? He is scared of gunshots. All these problems could prevent before. If the dog had a good mental state picture.
Yes, I think one of the main problems is time. No one seems to have time, to test. This is a problem one of the problems that I have certainly is when I'm going 20 minutes in someone's backyard to make a decision, yes or no, is not long enough. But unfortunately, sometimes, as I've said, people will not let you take a dog away. They won't let you take the dog for a 1-week trial or a 2 weeks trial. And sometimes you have to hand them over a lot of money on your having spent just 20 minutes evaluating the dog. So, it's quite a big risk sometimes. And I've lost quite a bit of money from making the wrong decisions on some dogs. So we have a question that's come in here, Damir, about so this lady is asking, a dog, do you go with a dog with a food drive, a Kong drive, or a ball drive? What do you go with?
A food drive, or Kong drive, or the ball drive. We are searching for the play and the fight drives. In the Kong, we have used in scenario in which we are evaluating the play and fight drives for the dog. We are using the Kong toy and the tag, a skin or a tag for the dog, and that are the tools in that scenario. So we are evaluating the drive this young lady is talking about, but we are using the tools for it. We are using the Kong and the tag or the skin.
Okay, no balls.
No balls.
Why no?
Because we have decided that if we want to have results which we can put in the mental test protocol base and we can evaluate it after, then it's very, very important that all test leaders are performing the test and all the scenarios using the same equipment, same scenarios, everything. And that's the reason why we have decided, okay, we will use the Kong and we will use the tag or the skin because everybody can buy it. If I would put inside, we can use a ball. Someone will use a tennis ball, someone will use a Kong ball, someone will use the golf ball or football ball or basketball ball, and the results will not be the same.
Okay. It's interesting we talk about balls because I started a discussion on Twitter last night about tennis balls. So do you ever do you ever use tennis balls for training detection dogs?
No, no. I have used it in my time in police because we have it was part of the equipment for each handler, but I don't use it because they don't last too long.
Okay, okay. Do you find that a dog will have a different? So some of my dogs now, I give them the option to have, do they want to play with a tennis ball or with a Kong or with a Tuggy? So I've got two dogs here at the moment, a brother and a sister. The brother, they're both 6 months old. The brother loves a Kong, and the Kong is what we use for his training because that's what he's been given a choice. He tennis ball thrown for him, a Tuggy, a Kong. But his sister, she doesn't like a Kong. She doesn't like a tennis ball. She just likes a Tuggy. So do you agree that different dogs have different drives for different toys?
I can explain it in a way. Okay, what feelings the dog gets when he takes it in his mouth. For me, capability of the dog to use his teeth, jaws, body to fight, to compete over the prey is something we can discuss. But each time that the dog catch a Kong or to catch the tennis ball or to catch the tug, he has some completely different experience with it. And that's maybe a reason. In the first time when someone introduced the prey, that's the moment when dog will create his expectation towards the prey. If you use a good method to introduce it with the Kong or introduce it with the dog, with the tennis ball or with the tug, and that kind of expectation you will have in the future, or maybe you can change it a little bit, but at this first moment, I can say that will be the crucial moment. But for example, if the dog has a play drive and fight drive inside of him, and then no matter what kind of toy you are using, he will give some sort of the reaction towards it, and you will be able to evaluate it.
Okay, so we have another question here. This is about the age of dogs. Does the age of the dog determine when the dog has different drives? So I'm thinking that they're asking here, Damir. Does a dog have less drive at 8 weeks old and more at 12 months old, or the drives fluctuate with age?
There was lots of research made about it, and there was I have made lots of conversations and arguments about it, but I like to keep it simple. If the dog has drives, he has it like a puppy, and what could be better? His ability to work with human on the prey, to fight for it, because the muscles, he's bigger, his jaws are, his bite is much more stronger, and that's it. If he has drives, he will have it like a puppy, and he will have it with 12 months old. It's just a matter of energy he will put after it.
Okay, so there is another question here.
I don't know if you agree with me, but that's my opinion. That's my experience. Yeah, we can see lots of time on Facebook. This little Belgian Malinois, 2-3 months old, already doing a bite sleeve or something like that. I have, to be completely honest, I don't see purpose in it.
Yeah.
What will happen if you start that with 12 months? What will you lose? Nothing. But you can evaluate, okay, this dog has very good potential he is very interested, the prey has very big value in his life, okay, I will do something else, I will develop it, and I will wait to start real good training in 12 months old dogs. Because in force, you have been starting doing the training in 10 months or 12 or 24 or 36 months.
I think one of the problems that, I don't think there's I think people try to say that there is a science to the age of a dog and its drive, but I've seen a lot of dogs. I've been very lucky. I've had a dog at 8 weeks old, and it will pick a tennis ball up and it won't give it back. It will run around. The tennis ball is bigger than the dog's head. And it's picking it up, and it's very possessive. And I've thought, yeah, that's a really good sign. And that dog went on to become a phenomenal search dog. But I've also seen dogs that are not interested in playing with or being possessive with tennis balls or tuggies or Kongs up until they're 6 or 7 months of age, and then all of a sudden it kicks in. And they become possessive, and they want to play with it. They want to search for it. But I've also seen it later on in dogs at 10, 11, 12 months old. So I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. It's
I have heard lots of time this possessive about the toy or something. He don't want to share with me. He's very possessive. He has a very good drive. I have always asked them, why is the reason why he don't want to share it with you? But he's possessive. No. Isn't it better to chase it because you have thrown it to him that ball, or it's much more better for him to carry it around his mouth? The prey is already dead in his mouth, but why doesn't he want to bring it back to you, to share with you? What is his social state?
Yeah.
Social self-confidence. What are his fighting spirit about it? We can agree. Lots of people are saying, possessive is very good. I could say, I have puppies who already share the toy with me because they have figured it out that it's much better to fight over it in cooperation with the human, because human can fight it, he can pull it, or he can throw it to me. I have much more bigger cooperation with the dog than in situation when he don't want to share it with me. We can agree that there is a prey interest because he don't want to share it, but this prey has some sort of value for him. But why is the reason? Because why doesn't he want to share it with me? Because I have to teach him something. This prey will be the motivator, reward for him, because he will do something good and I will give him this ball. But now he don't want to share it with me. Why is that?
Yeah.
All this we are evaluating in mental test protocol. Maybe the result is because there is none fighting spirit in this dog. The prey has a value, but only when he's chasing it. And in the moment he has to fight it for it, he will just leave it. And I don't want to fight over it with you. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a reason because his social status, social self-confidence is not so good. The human is, okay, I can accept you. You are a part of this social environment. You are bringing me food, but please, I don't want any cooperation except just bring me this food and sometimes just give me that ball. I can play with it all day.
Yeah.
What is the reason behind this behavior? Why dog doesn't want to share this prey with you? Or, we have lots of problems with dogs who don't want to release the prey. You have seen my dogs. All of them has a very, very good release command.
Yeah.
All of them. Because they want cooperation.
Yes.
Social status is very high.
So some messages are popping up here, Damir. This, for some reason, this system is not working. Some of these are not showing tonight, but we have. I think this is from YouTube, from Michelle Bouchard. Do you use this testing to help decide breeding stock? do you also health test breeding stock, Damir?
What can you just go with me for the stock? What is the expression for the stock? Can you help me with the stock?
Yeah, so breed, as you were saying, you would say heritage. So do you use testing
heritage? Okay,
breeding heritage?
Yeah, for sure. We if we are testing, we are for all the dogs, no matter what kind of the purpose, will it be detection or breeding, doesn't matter. We put the dog through the same mental test protocol. At the end, when we are speaking with when we are explaining to the owner test results, we will tell to him, listen, this dog has a very, very big problem with unmoderate aggression towards the stimuli. Very big fear. The result is the dog is sometimes start to behave. He's biting people around, biting little children. Yeah, but he has very good results in show line. Yeah, but the results research has been made that the fear is a very, very big problem, and males and females in breeding process are transferring in very, very big percentage to the litters, you know. So based on the test results, the owner can decide, okay, this dog has a very good mentality. I will go for the breeding because there is a very good chance he will transfer it to the litters. It could be only the good thing coming up. But if you decide to breed a dog who has some sort of mentality problems with nerves, he can't control his behavior, then for sure there's a very big percentage that will be results on the puppy too. So my experience with it, that some breeders have decided to go with it, and they have a very big problems with litters, and some of the breeders who have been very famous stopped their breeding program, completely changed the females and males. They have even come from the new information. Can you test this dog? Can you test this dog? And we have made a very, very good improvement in their kennels.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Damir. Thanks, Michelle, for that question. So we have a question. Hopefully this will load up. From Matt Jones. And it's Matt's birthday today. Happy birthday, Matt. Hi, Damir. The mindset mindset program sounds great. Have you thought of a similar program for puppies so you could filter dogs with potential? So that's something like you were just talking about now with that last question, Damir.
Yeah, for sure. I have even started to develop the protocol for the puppies, and in future lectures with the other guests, one guest who has very big influence on me. We will take at least 90% of his puppy program testing. So I will let him to answer this question. But for sure, we are developing it, and hopefully it will be finished in 1.5 years.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that question, Matt, and happy birthday. Yeah, so you just mentioned there now at the start of this live talk, Damir. I was telling people that I haven't told people who it is, but on Tuesday the 12th, so it's a week Tuesday, we've got the person that you've just been talking about is coming on to K9 Live Talk, and they have a pretty big breeding program for Malinois. How do you know how many litters they have, Damir?
I think that around 80.
It's about 80 liters. And so it's a global training center with a global reputation. Very, very high quality. They produce very, very high quality detection dogs. So they are going to be adopting your mental test protocols, Damir.
Yeah. There is a lot of owners and lots of clients who are asking the Canis Revolution to provide them the evaluation of the puppies, and okay, we are doing that, but and I gave them results based on my experience and my knowledge, but there is in this moment we still didn't develop the mental test protocol for the puppies. We are in the process of developing it. In the future we will have it, but the goal was that we want to test the dogs in 12 months old, because we in final goal was to make a better dogs for the service, to help people, to help the handlers, police, customs, army, because all the handlers, I don't know how many are there watching it now, but I can say in the world, they get what they get. Someone has made the selection for him, his instructor or someone has made the selection based on his experience, and they gave him dog and said, oh, this dog has very good drives, train him, I will help you. And sometimes in service this dog don't perform, or he has some very strange behaviors and lots of difficulties in service. And that's what the reason behind this, because nobody has evaluated his mental characteristic, his mentality. Nobody knows what is happening in his mindset, what is his thinking, what are their fears, how is he handling it, what is his relief, what are their nerves. We can say the nerves are steering wheel for the dog, because handler can use nerves because he will drive this dog through all situations. But if we have bad nerves over there, we will have lots of bad problems in future in service.
So Damir, it's 60 minutes. That's an hour has gone.
This mentality test protocol, when we give the presentation for the audience, for the new trainers, for the helpers, it lasts for the 3 days in weekend. So we had a 1 hour just to scratch, a little scratch for the service. Hopefully some of the guests who have been watching this will come for our working dog conference when we set the new date, or they are more than welcome to go to our email, to come to visit us in Croatia. We can help them even in their countries to implement this. So they are more than welcome to join us in this project if they think that will help them to better understand what is the mentality of their dog. There is a very good line over it. What is on the other end of my leash?
So I've put your email up there, Damir, and anyone interested, your conference, the Canis Revolution Working Dog Conference, should have been last weekend, but obviously it's had to be postponed because of the current COVID-19 situation. But you're hoping to put the date, have the date later in the year. So I've put your email up there. You probably, it hasn't been a big conference, but you have had world-class speakers at your conference. You have had, Jokke Berlin is a world-class instructor. He is a speaker at the conference, and you have a number of others. So if anybody wants to go to the conference, there's not a huge cost involved. It's held in beautiful city of Zagreb for 2 days. Contact Damir. You're more than welcome, aren't they, Damir?
For sure, yeah. We have lots of space. We have a very good networking. We have lots of good instructors. Last year we had an excellent time. So hopefully we will manage to organize it, do this situation with COVID. I believe maybe in September will be a new date, but stay tuned. We will put it in media as soon as we get the new date.
Okay, so thanks.
we had around 90 people reserve their place for this congress. That was very good number.
Every relationship, animals are the same. So that's come from Andrea, who we haven't confirmed the date yet, but Andrea is going to be a speaker on Canine Live Talk. So thank you, Damir, for your time.
Thank you.
And I will speak to you again.
Yeah.
Okay. If you
goodbye to everybody.
Speak to you in a bit. Okay. So thank you for watching that. If you've got any questions, please email Damir or message me. As I just said there now, Andrea, we are hoping to have on. We haven't confirmed a date yet, but we're hoping to have Andrea on in the next few weeks. We've got a few others confirmed, confirmed speakers, but not dates. We have another. We have a world-class speaker on conservation and wildlife detection dogs. He's a scientist. He's going to be joining us for 60 minutes. So we'll let you know about him. And as I say, on Tuesday the 12th, we've got the person's name will be released at some point. But again, the director from a global training centre producing some excellent world-class detection dogs. That's on Tuesday the 12th. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you again. Thanks very much.